all of a sudden they're like, well, no, it's too dangerous to go outside because there's sharks flying through the air out there.
And I was kind of trying to figure out what led me to doing this.
The Holy Land, Palestine, Israel, it is never our homeland.
I said, well, there's things I don't know. Well, let me see how this all ties together.
The whole international community loathes you.
I have a lot to say on that I will keep to myself for now.
And it looks like they're going a little hard over there.
Yeah.
The state of Israel is a rebellion against God. The state of Israel is a rebellion against God.
Hello, everybody.
Heidi-ho, neighbors.
We had a little hiatus, or if you're here for the first time, you're in for a pretty good one. It's going to get interesting. But I would urge everybody to go back and watch the most recent short we have. It's about the probable weapon in the Charlie Kirk case. We're not going to stop talking about that topic.
No.
It's not going to be the only thing we talk about.
No.
But it is the catalyst for not only what we're talking about today, but something that I'm dedicating a big part of my life to. But real quick, just ask anybody out there that prays, please say a prayer for our friend Crystal. She's fighting for her life right now. She's been like a friend of the podcast. She's just been one of the best people we've gotten to know since we moved down here. So yeah,
She's become like extended family to us, and we really love her, and she really supported us heavily through everything we went through this past year with all the stuff we were investigating. If you've watched it, you know what I'm talking about, the cult stuff. She wasn't involved in that, but she was a very strong supporter for us.
Yeah,
we love her.
Encouraging, and
so
absolutely.
Please say some prayers for her if you could, because she could use them.
And speaking of prayers, those play a role in this. We were talking about it last night, and I was kind of trying to figure out what led me to doing this. The project, as people have heard when I've talked back and forth the comments on our channel or other channels, and they've come over, and they're kind of coming over anticipating hearing parts of the project. I'm working on that, but this is kind of the first step in that. Basically, I'm writing a book on Zionism and how it's affected the theology of different groups of people, how it's affected lives and nations, but there's a lot more to it. So basically, I'm just kind of telling what made me do this. I've always been a writer. I'm not an author. I mean, I've done little poetry stuff back in the day and short stories.
Writer.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I mean, it's the thing I've always been kind of naturally good at, and I was recognized for it when I was younger. But I'm not exactly in the business of writing books. I don't have the time in life. We're starting like a second location of a business. Like, it's very busy. But every free minute I have, I feel I'm not claiming that I've been called, but it feels like a calling.
I think you have a little bit. I think he has.
Maybe because I have an absolutely horrible attention span. And I spend 2 to 4, sometimes more hours a day learning. When people were questioning things in Gaza in the slightest, they were called anti-Semites. And this was conservatives, libertarians, even Jews. But, you know, that's the normal program we've always seen and heard. You know, there's no sharing of ideas on that topic. You know, it's just basically shut you down with that term. That's about the worst thing you could possibly call somebody. It's been created that way, but that's a whole different conversation. It's actually half of a chapter of the book. But, you know, so it shut people down like that. People just simply telling thorough, even light-handed history like Daryl Cooper were demonized when everything he wrote about checks out.
Yeah.
And it was innocuous. There was no, like, there was nothing there that was quote unquote harmful or whatever, you know. And I do want to say real quick, because it just, when my blood pressure peaks, I gotta let the tension out. There are people like Ben Shapiro who all they ever talked about is facts. Don't care about your feelings. Let's debate. He's out there debating people and stuff, like doing his crappy version of what Charlie did.
Yeah.
And he's the first guy now to basically demonize you for even having someone on your show that might have something to say on this topic that doesn't agree with one side in particular.
Right.
So it's an absolute joke as a conservative I'm bothered by that. It makes us look ridiculous.
Very, very, very much. I have a lot to say on that I will keep to myself for now.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on Ben Shapiro, but he's just a microcosm of what I'm trying to describe. And there is a divide, a schism, I think a permanent divide in the conservative side of politics.
It is a permanent divide.
MAGA's dead.
MAGA's gone.
I'm going to, and I know I'm not the first person, but I'm going to officially declare MAGA dead.
It is, and it's very sad, but it's true.
The Epstein thing, like I said earlier, like put MAGA on the map, and Zionism carried it right out of the arena.
Yeah.
So
on a stretcher.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is the topic, you know. It's bringing people together, though. So I'll get to that. I think it's actually a good thing. Things take time. If you study history like I do, you're talking about a half a century usually when a change of the kind of magnitude that could happen takes place. It doesn't happen overnight.
To clarify what he just said, that he thinks it's a good thing. He did not mean he thinks Zionism is a good thing.
Oh, no, God, no.
So just in case anybody thinks that, that's not what he meant.
But I will say with the book, I didn't begin writing it with the intention of I'm gonna prove that Zionism is bad because everybody agrees with me. No, it wasn't that at all. What made me do it is, and I guess this is a hook sort of, so I should have said it at the beginning. When all of that stuff was happening and people were being called anti-Semites and all of that, something dawned on me, and I said to myself, they're all ignorant. But I didn't mean the people calling people anti-Semites. I mean the people that were getting accused of anti-Semitism. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is none of them probably even have the same picture in their head as to what a Jew is.
Right.
So you're basically saying that these people hate a group, but history and anthropology and things that I talk about in a book that I might touch on today kind of show that it can't really be made a group, even though it's considered a group. But, you start calling people this term and trying to destroy them, and they look flabbergasted by it.
Yeah. Because
they don't even understand how they could possibly hate this group when they don't even know what you're referring to with this group.
Right. Yeah.
Is it the religious Jays? Is it the atheist Jays? Is it the Reform? Is it the Conservative? Is it the Reform? What is it? Is it the Sephardi? Like, is it the Ashkenaz? Like, what is it?
Do any of you know what any of those words that he just said meant?
And there's a lot more. All these people were doing is saying, it looks like they're going a little hard over there.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a war.
Right.
It just looks like,
one-sided maybe.
Yeah, they're just kind of leveling things. Is this a construction project? Come to find out it is. Ask Jared Kushner.
Yeah.
It's pertinent that we realize this is the number one issue, and it will bring unity. We'll deal with everything else later. It brings people together on both sides of the aisle.
And for any Israelis watching this right now, I want you to be clear. I want you to understand this, okay? Because others are very afraid. I get the IDF sending me pictures of their weapons, talking about how they're gonna slaughter me. I'm not afraid of you. Not afraid of you, okay? All the other cowards in American media, they can F off. They're not like me, I'm different. I'm not afraid of you, okay? So while you're cashing checks that are funded by my tax dollars and the tax dollars of my fellow Americans, I need you to understand something clearly. You are hated internationally, hated. Don't be mistaken based on the propaganda you hear in American media. That's not representative of how the American people feel about you. You're hated. And it's not because you're Jewish. It's because you slaughter innocent people. It's because you think you're God's chosen people when you act like absolute demons. That's the reality. The whole international community loathes you. Young American citizens in this country, both left and right, loathe you. And eventually these are the people who are gonna come into power. So I think Israel's days are numbered as it pertains to America backing its disgusting, loathsome behavior. It's war crimes, it's slaughter of innocent people.
Because a lot of us conservative. I mean, we brought a lot of people together in the MAGA party, quote
Yeah,
unquote.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, you got libertarians, you got guys that even lean a little bit left. You know, and it wasn't just that Trump's message and things like that. It was also just the left was so bad.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of came over here, and I said in our podcast from the beginning, this thing will break apart.
Oh yeah.
This is very temporary. These people, it will get to certain issues where there is no reconciling
There
them.
will be infighting, and there has
Right.
been.
And now I think it's way beyond infighting.
Oh, so much.
I think it's over with.
It is.
It affects the other side too. It's not
does.
seen as much, but it does. I was actually a person that for a couple of days I had an Israel flag on my Facebook.
He did. Yeah.
I only knew the surface explanation of this. Is like, hey, I'm a conservative. That's our ally, which come to find out is not.
This was after October 7th. Right?
Yeah, it was after October 7th. And, you know, obviously, you know, like Charlie Kirk said, you know, it was a 20-hour stand down, basically. It kind of looks like, well, y'all know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, I just sealed the deal that nobody will see this video, but anyways, we just got monetized too. Not anymore. But, so anyways, we started seeing that this is the era of truth. I remember Cat Williams was talking about this.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Maybe not for the exact reasons. The reason it is just obviously the technology. We get this, I don't want to say get to because it's horrible to see sometimes. We see everything.
No.
And, you know, people are tired of being told to not see with their eyes, like gaslighting.
Right.
You know, basically, you're gonna lie to me and tell me my eyes don't see what they see.
Exactly.
People, I noticed that they'd go like, you're gonna accuse me of like hating an entire group of people, especially Dave Smith. It's funny because he's Jewish. I could see in their head they're thinking of the possibility of that. Like, you know, do I hate this group? And it's like, who the hell is this group?
Right.
It's not really a group. It's a created term, a created group. There's not a shared ethnicity. There's barely any shared culture. There's not a shared religion. Where there is shared religion, there's 500 versions of it. It's completely just, it's a way to just shut somebody up.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I
We've
came
allowed
into
it
this
for a long time.
Yeah, we have.
Unknowingly, a lot of us, you know, what we have.
And I came into writing this just like, you know what? I know a bit about the subject. I know how it ties into other things. Like it ties into socialism and things of that nature. Just several things. The carving up and reorganizing of Europe. Like just everything. And I said, well, there's things I don't know. Well, let me see how this all ties together. And so I decided that what I was going to put together is, it was very important to me. It was Elenon Beck. He's a rabbi who is an anti-Zionist rabbi.
In today's day, where is the most danger place for Jewish people? Go all around the world. All the world, you will come to one point, the middle of the world, the state of Israel. 7th of October didn't start on 7th of October, it started in 1948 on the 15th of May. It started by the Nakba for the Palestinians. This happened when they want to cover up their killings, the genocide, with more killings. Zionism is basically built up on mistrusting God. Don't believe in God, don't trust God. From the other side, Judaism is built up on trusting in God. The state of Israel is a rebellion against God. A person who can justify genocide, a person who can commit genocide, I can't count him as a Jew.
He is what I'll, just to simplify things, call a Torah Jew.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, something that I'm going to say here, even though I'm not going into all the detail of the book, is that Zionism and basically giving the Jews a homeland it's the polar opposite of what they believe is right.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, something like that takes away their salvation.
Yeah.
They are supposed to remain scattered, and their Messiah is going to come and restore the kingdom. That's going to happen. You can't force that
belief. Yeah.
So by forcing that, and especially when most of the people you bring into it aren't even religious, they're just Eastern European people for the most. They're just European people. You start doing that, and it's kind of, you're taking away everything that, at least to them, for hundreds of years, is what a Jew is. It's gotten to the point where you can't talk about anything, but then again, you can. There's something strange happening. So, let's say you decide to go down a rabbit hole with this stuff, and you've heard about the Khazars, Khazarians, and so you watch a video on that. You're going to start getting Austrian painter shorts and reels and stuff. And you're going to realize that there's a lot of people that are thinking like you. And then you're going to realize that, like, the mainstream media, the surface thing, all that kind of stuff is, you know, like, always representing it as though you are just a part of this tiny 2% minority.
This fringe group.
Yeah, that's like extremist, because you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense to me anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that this is what we're doing, but wait a minute. I saw what's happening over there, and it's complete and utter carnage. It's disgusting. And so obviously you know what side I fall on with this. But that it's a beautiful thing, because it unites me with a lot of people who otherwise, you know, I would have had just disdain for. It would have been normal left versus right BS, but it's like, hold on a second. When you see kids that are hanging on to their last breath, who look like they've already been gone for weeks.
Yeah, they're skeletal.
Yeah. I'm trying my best to not make it super graphic. When you see that in their own newspaper, Israel admits that 83% of their kills are civilians. 83%. And they're running around saying that they are running the most, like, efficient, humanitarian, like, whatever it is. It gets me so upset I don't really have words.
It's really hard. We're kind of back at a place where it's hard to speak on things, and I thought we were past that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it reminds me of back when we couldn't talk about, you know, the jab, and it's like, but this is so much
Believe it or not, it is way bigger.
And it's scary.
Yeah, I mean, it turned into, like, you know, we talked about this with Charlie. Now, we hadn't noticed that Charlie was a noticer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we had an episode that was about, like, us being called the woke right. And we're essentially, people like us are being called the woke right for the simple fact that we were like, look, we are being made into, I'll just say it, we're being made into Israel's bitch, and basically funding a genocide.
The G word, yeah.
Yeah, the G word. I should learn how to edit myself a little better.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is.
Right. And there are some truly demonic people out there that don't just defend what's happening. It's one thing to defend and be kind of brainwashed and say,
blindly loyal.
Yeah, those are my people. I'm blindly loyal. Like I said, like, we're conservatives, so, like, we were kind of in that boat too.
Yeah, we did it
until I don't know, we decided to open our eyes one day. But there are some truly demonic people that actually love this.
They do.
They love what's being done.
And you can see it. It's not like it's not, you know, it's not like it's completely being hidden or anything. Like, you can find it readily available.
And they view, obviously, based on their actions, not just their words, but they view the people there as far less than people. I would assume that they probably are more saddened by seeing the building destroyed than the people inside toppled.
Yeah, and to be clear, they don't care about either. So
right, and the thing is it makes me sick that I'm just like, it's embarrassing that I see conservatives up there, and, you know, the lack of a better phrase, whining and crying about a handful of hostages when your side has killed 60,000 people. Or at one point you had thousands of hostages and you're whining over 11. This is the part of it that really gets me upset. And it's part of what made me go forward with writing this. You people that support this movement, whether you are directly a part of pushing it or you are just complicit, you are taking people's fucking eternal salvation away from them.
Yeah.
So when you have a Christian like myself, and, you know, I'm an apologist, I study translation. I spend hours making sure that I know the word correctly. It's quite important to me where I'm going next and where I lead my family to go.
Trust me, it's a constant topic of conversation. It is
Yeah,
like
probably
pretty much
too
the
much.
only conversation in our house a lot of days. So it just is what it is. It's not a bad thing.
By saying that you're taking people's salvation away is because of this issue. There are, I don't know what the percentage is at this point, but I feel it's embarrassing no matter what it is. You have two halves of Christianity, we'll say. Now, two sides. Whether you're a Christian Zionist or you're the complete opposite, meaning a Christian who's actually a Christian, a biblical Christian. Whether it's the Schofield Bible or it's the media or it's the pastors who've been paid to push this change to our theology or whatever it is, the ones who don't know any better, whatever it is, we're being fed a doctrine that is the antithesis
of our holy book that
Mhm.
is the one true guide to our life. There's no other way to say
Put
it.
it this way, I'll just say it. And I mean, Christians want to pussyfoot around this, even the ones who are anti-Zionist. They don't want to say it. But proclaim what you are and what you believe. When it comes down to it, our Messiah already came.
Yeah.
It's done.
He came.
He's
died
going
on
to
the
come
cross
one
for
last
us.
time, raise, and it's over. In other words, that was this other group's last chance. They denied the Savior. They are waiting on a different Messiah. Well, that is the false Messiah because we already know who the Messiah is on our side. So if you're one of these people that's running around talking about you're a Christian and you're saying basically that these people are chosen, whether you say they deserve a little piece of land or not, but these people are chosen, let's help them build that third temple and raise this Messiah. Where I don't understand where that. Well, I do know where it came from.
What is wrong with you?
Well, here's what's wrong.
Open your eyes.
The book's going to tell you. The book I'm writing is going to tell you exactly how this happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to tell you all the different groups within that side of this, but very importantly, what made me actually decide to write it. I mean, I had the idea. I'd scribbled some thoughts down. It was listening to a rabbi who's anti-Zionist, Ellen Beck. I could tell that he was pure in intention. Like, he seemed like a great guy, and I realized he's a pure human being. And the same way I love the Palestinian people that I see that are civilians who are going through this. Going through this and not coming out of it most of the time. But so I listened to him and I said, wait a minute. They stole his religion. They stole his salvation. He's watching, and the percentages are in the book and everything, and it shows how it's progressed. But since Zionism was instituted, we'll call it, in the West, and, well, of course, in the Middle East, forced there, more and more actual religious Jews have decided to go along with it, even though it undoes everything that they've ever believed in theologically. So, basically you're taking away everything that's in their eschatology that's in their heart, that's in their soul. So you took that, and then I kind of said to myself, wait a minute, you also took half of my Christian brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
You took them. You're leading them to burn. It's really that simple. I mean, this video will probably get, throttled or taken down or something by saying that, but it's leading people to burn. It's leading people to not reach the goal that they've worked their entire lives for.
And that was Zionism, designed to wipe out Jewish identity, destroy it, and replace it with Zionist identity. We're always looking to 2,000 years to come back to our land. No, we were looking for messianic renewal of the world, for an eschatology, for God to come back, and end of days. No, that's not what we were looking for, said the Zionists. We were looking for return to our homeland. And the Holy Land, Palestine, Israel, it is never our homeland. Change all the Jewish concepts. Change everything from spirituality to politics.
But Charlie Kirk, he was also probably, we'll call it the Trinity. There was what I saw them doing to religious rabbis over time. I saw them do it to Christianity and warp it to the point where people are just like marching right to Satan.
Yeah, I mean, people that have been like Bible followers for their whole life,
Yeah.
and like they will just go along with this stuff because they just think that, well, all these people are saying this, like, oh yeah, that's right, okay, that's right, you know, so that's what that means in here. It's like, no.
And I'm here to say that, you know, take it how you want to. You can't be that way about your faith.
No.
I'm not perfect or anything. I do study a lot. I think that I have a good grasp on a lot of things with this. You can't be that way about your faith. You could be the one who somehow, I don't know, you make a post online, it becomes viral. You could be the one that kind of helps speed up this process that basically damns countless people to hell.
Yeah.
That's really it.
And you don't even know it.
Yeah. And so obviously this whole thing, it's become more of a conversation because of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk, we did a video about people like us being called the woke right, simply because we looked at what was happening in Gaza and basically used our common sense and said, okay, this isn't what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how we're being treated. Look at, you know, this is like barbaric. This is disgusting. Charlie Kirk was something, he's the third part of the Trinity, I guess, to set me off to write a damn book when I don't have time for this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, we talk about this every night where I'm like, why am I doing this? Like seriously, what is this going to do for me? You know, I'm in an age and we're trying to have a life, a certain kind of life to where it's like, okay, I need to dedicate every moment I have the most optimal way that I can. And here I'm writing a book about people somewhere else, about thousands of years of religious history of people that have nothing to do with me. You know, defending people that will never know me.
A Zionist movement that has destroyed the West as we know it. And
it has. And I hope that at least a handful of people who are just ignorant to it, young people, whatever. I mean, thankfully, the young people believe what their eyes see. You know, there is a lot of that. But Charlie was something different. He was their guy.
Oh, yeah.
We did the Woke Right episode.
Right before he died.
Yeah, and I'd seen like one clip where he sounded like he was wavering or whatever before we made that episode, but I was like, man, he's bought and paid for.
Yeah, we didn't know.
Not actually bought and paid for. That's not what I mean.
That's what it felt like, you know.
Yeah, I'm using it as an expression.
Others were. Yeah, that's how it's.
But yeah, others are. He was just kind of indoctrinated into it. I believe that he wholeheartedly thought that he was doing things the right way.
He did.
But he noticed, quote unquote, right before he died.
Yeah. Well, for the year before he died, at least.
Yeah, and you know, he got more and more open with how he felt about it. You know, you can't say that he was just having a momentary, you know, blip in his life where he kind of questioned this thing when he uses words like cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he the way that he was treated, that people live up to certain stereotypes, just on and on and on. So he was making the change. And, you know, think what you want about the situation, if there is any possibility that him making that change could have led to anything. I'm not here to say that right now. Go watch our other videos if you want to know what we think about that.
Yeah.
We gave the most, best we could be unbiased. We used AI. We used statistics. We used just common sense. We treated it like it's a court case. Like, I have a lot of passion behind some of these topics, but I refuse to just come out there and yell about how I feel.
Yeah.
I got to make sure that I know. It's just like when I study the apologetic stuff. I have to know that I am certain about what I feel before I act that way. It's not just Charlie. It was a timing of everything and how it came together.
Mm-hmm.
He was starting to figure things out. At the same time, our apologetics, people like Wes Huff and others, all were becoming like mainstream. Just all of these people are coming out talking about their faith, they're also obviously talking about Gaza. It's in the Holy Land. It's, we're conservatives. So people started looking at things a little bit differently. And when he died, and there were immediate questions about possible involvement because of everything that's on the line. Like I said, I'll put it here. Watch that video for that, because it's actually alarming how much is on the line about that.
Yeah.
Yet another thing where I said, oh yeah, this is going to be bad, but I didn't know what bad was until I actually looked at it. So even, his guy, Andrew, called it over at Turning Point. He felt that the text messages where he had changed his mind were pertinent enough to where he gave them to the FBI.
Yeah, interesting, eh?
Very interesting. So you start seeing stuff like that and you can't unsee it. They say, like, once you notice, you can't stop noticing. And so all of these things are coming out at the same time. You've got Tucker, the 9/11 thing, you have the Epstein file thing, you have the hundreds of millions of dollars coming from Adelson to Trump. You have Bibi openly saying this is an 8-front war, and the 8th one is our social media, and he has to buy it off, basically. So literally, openly, these are the people I'm paying to manipulate this. You have Ellison,
$7,000 influencers.
yeah, and you have Larry Ellison buying entire social media platform. So all of this is coming together at the same time. This is an issue that we cannot get away from.
No.
There's no way. And also it came in the heels of people like Andrew Tate being correct when he said that Christians are always fair game.
Yeah, and I don't like saying Andrew Tate's correct very often. But when he is, he is.
He said he chose Islam because he said it's the last religion. And what he meant is that Christianity is just this thing that people say they are, because they're not willing to get passionate about it, defend themselves, like all of those things that way back in the past, that the not even way back, but the Zionists, the original Zionists, called the actual religious Jews meek, and said that they would let things happen to their wife in front of their kids and stuff like that, get dragged out of the house.
Yeah.
In a metaphorical way, but possibly in a physical way in some places. Christians are kind of doing that.
Yeah.
More in the way that we kind of allow ourselves to be the butt end of the joke, to be the ones that can be criticized and insulted and things like that. Like they always make the joke like, yeah, say that about Islam and see what happens. No. If you want a real challenge, say it about the group that predominantly isn't even religious and see what happens. Talk about the Z's over here, So all of this is like culminating into this thing, and you're seeing divides because a lot of our conservative media companies and just different cliques of influencers and stuff like that, they realize like, oh my God, like we're not on the same page with this.
Yeah.
Like I'm not okay with this. And it took tens of thousands of people dying for them to like raise the question and go, wait a minute, what is it you believe again? And boom, done. That's it. So Christians are always fair game. I mean, and there's weird little things too. Like for instance, like Google or Wikipedia or AI saying that changing
the Bible, very basic things.
Yeah.
The most basic thing.
Just ask who took Jesus out.
Yeah, ask who killed Jesus or who wanted him to, be executed.
And then read the Bible and see which one, see if they match up. That's all I'm saying. So just leave it at that.
It's insane. I couldn't believe that when I read it.
And see the issue with this, where I'm saying that like it's not just conservatives, but there's this whole terminology, Judeo-Christian, where it's like our ideals align.
We've been taught that, and that's been shoved down our throat.
Do they?
For a long time. I mean, I was like kind of raised Catholic for a short time in my life. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We heard that. Yeah. Well, you've heard my stories of it. I left that in 8th grade before I could be confirmed into the faith because it wasn't right for me.
There's a big part on them in the book.
But I mean, I'm not even here to, I'm not talking smack about Catholics. It just wasn't right for me. Judeo-Christian, that was a thing we heard forever since we were little kids. Like that was just always something that you thought was normal and real, and like he
And let
didn't
me
even know
jump
what
in
it
there and
meant.
say something. When people were taught that term and it was beat into their head, it was beat into their head based on this new nation of Israel. That's where the Judeos coming in. Meanwhile, almost none of the people who founded it or whose idea it was were religious at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a complete, manipulation.
Yeah.
You're taught that. Let's go down the ideals. Like at the beginning of this, I kind of still believed some of this, but the more I studied, the more I read the words of the actual people in the movement on both sides, religious, the quotes and stuff are like absolutely unbelievable. So,
Sorry, I had to throw a little humor in there for a minute.
do our ideals actually align? Well, I mean, if you just look at the religious part of it,
No.
no, they're diametrically opposed.
Yeah.
Our Savior already came. They're waiting on another one. If we are actually strong in our understanding of our word, know that is the Antichrist that they're trying to rise. So got a problem there.
Yeah.
Got a pretty big problem there.
Yeah.
There's also issues with parts of the actual religious groups, or even partly religious groups within this loose term that's been created, the J word. They not only are opposed to our beliefs, but they truly look at us as much less.
Yeah. With a lot of disdain, and like we're lower than
No,
dogs.
yeah, much lower, which is pretty disgusting when you look at our money that goes to this nation. So this is what I mean by when I said, when all of this was happening, people are getting criticized or being called anti-Semites, and I say that everybody's ignorant. Even there, when I said that, like I said, the people who kind of run this show, who run this, we'll call it a movement, they're not religious. And either are the powerful people that become a part of our media or our influencing or any of that kind of stuff, they're not even religious. The ones that are actually religious, for the most part, look at you like you're lower than trash.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize how they look at Palestinians. And you realize that in their newspapers on the front cover, it says that 83% of their kills are civilians. And then you realize that both our generals and government officials and theirs go on and on about how this is like a targeted thing, and it's the most respectful and careful to not do that. But human shields.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So things just start coming together, and it really bothered me that this whole thing is intentionally confusing.
Yeah.
Intentionally confusing. If this was kind of, say there was a particular word, which there probably is. We get a little too wordy in this country. I'm sure there's a particular word for being racist against black people specifically. I don't know what it is. But
it's just racist.
Right. So
I don't know.
Somebody turns around and says, you're that, racist, whatever. It's basically like you can answer back and be like, well, why would I be racist? Or why would I be hateful towards somebody because of the color of their skin or where their ancestors came from? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. With this, what is it? Because I'm over here, despite the fact that they reject my Savior, and if they use the Talmud and all the other books to kind of, there's many more, I'm not going to go down the list, to interpret the Old Testament and things like that, to go out of their way to make a mockery of my Savior. I'm still over here saying it's their religious beliefs.
Let them be.
Let them be. They're not starting any problems, anything like that. So what is there to hate? I'm not hating the religion. I'm not hating where they come from, because they don't come from the same place.
No, that would be like hating half of an area of the world.
Yeah. I'm not hating their race because they're not a race. I'm not hating their culture because they don't have a shared culture. That's the whole thing. When I dove into this, I knew probably more than the average person about the world Jewry and how they felt about Zionism individually and things like that. But there are far more groups than I thought there were, and they don't connect at all.
It's crazy.
Most of them do not connect at all. It's so, in other words, you have the powers that be, quote unquote, and the book goes into who they are, and you probably heard some of the names, but there's a lot more that I guarantee most people don't know. So you have these people that have taken a very loose group, quite literally the definition of a loose group, a diaspora of people who are falling under an umbrella that is convenient for these people who are the powers that be.
Yeah.
And they're using this term to define all of them, despite the fact that there's almost no agreement in between the different groups of them at all. And the people leading them aren't religious.
Yeah.
So what the hell is this? So when I saw these people being called things, I felt for them, because I said, you know what? Like, not only are they being insulted and their lives are being affected and things like that, and the points they're making that are valid are being made invalid, I said, they're not even being declassified as a human being by a term that means anything.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean anything. And I mean, I could go to the etymology of the actual term anti-Semite, and to the biblical portion of it, who are actually Semites. And that really doesn't make sense.
No, I mean,
They're not using it right.
If you aren't confused already, boy, you will be.
Yeah,
more
I'm sorry. I've been without sleep lately, and I'm trying to get this across. And I hate the fact we're going to have to start putting more than just our old videos on Patreon, because I'm very hesitant about what I'm saying.
Yeah, it sucks.
I want to say that I went into this very open-minded. I went into this, I remember saying to you, like, what if they're right?
Yeah, I mean, we had that discussion a bunch of times, like, what if so? Wouldn't that be crazy if they were right? And it's like, yeah, that would be crazy.
Speaking of the religious Jews, what if they are? That was the discussion. I knew that the bloodline thing was incorrect. I knew that the covenant was wrong. I knew all of that stuff, but yet I was still kind of like, there's a lot of dedication in some of these people, man. Like,
right?
Like, let me take a look at what they're looking at. Let me see it. I took in hundreds of hours, probably, of people talking. I did as much reading. I would have jumped faiths if the evidence was there, is what I'm trying to say. I wouldn't have blindly stayed where I'm at, as far as my own theology goes. My own salvation, I wouldn't stay here just out of stubbornness.
No.
Some people have, but that's also in the book explained better. But I would have definitely, I wouldn't sit here and just continue to say that I'm right about that. I was on a quest to find, like, where did this movement come from? I kind of knew. It's like, I knew, but I didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We're starting to know.
Right. Why so many Christians are just willing to throw away their faith, or why they're so easily kind of manipulated into believing something different about their own faith. Why this is the issue, why this kills so many people. What is the payoff for doing that? There's got to be a payoff. Like, it's not just for fun. But I will say, the more I investigated current things, I found out there are groups of people over there that it's for fun.
It is, unfortunately.
They love it. They love it. And it's because they've been empowered by the most powerful nations in the world that they're basically bowed down to. They can do whatever they want. And I hate to say this, but, if you're a Christian, people have free will. We're all sinners. You see the mistakes that the Jays made over and over and over and over and over again. That's just kind of a metaphor for all of humankind.
Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, if you give people that kind of leeway, you let them know there's going to be no punishment, things like that, they will do horrible things. Not all of them, but they'll do horrible things. My uncle, James, rest in peace, he used to say that everything that man can do, he's done.
Yeah.
No matter how disgusting it is, no matter how painful it is, no matter, whatever. We're seeing some really evil stuff there. Charlie Kirk, if he would have lived longer, you would be hearing this message in a much clearer way because it would be coming from him.
At the same time, though, I don't know that he would have been allowed to give that message.
Well, yeah.
He would have, in the spirit of who he was, and how he was so adamant about finding and discussing the truth with people, and reaching middle ground with people to find out what their shared truth may have been. He would have tried. I think he would have definitely tried to be speaking about it, and I don't know that he would have been allowed to do it for very long. And I don't know exactly what would have stopped him. I'm not saying people were gonna go kill him or whatever. I don't, maybe. But
Yeah.
They would have silenced him in some way. He would have been silenced in some way. With everything that we've seen since his death, I mean, it's just, you can't unsee it once you see it. If Charlie were still alive right now, I think he would be absolutely heartbroken.
Yeah.
To see some of the people that he loved and held in high regard being the way that they are.
That's probably the problem. Like, I've sat here and gone back and forth going, wait a minute, man. It didn't take me long into the studying to figure out that message that he was helping to push, those people he was helping to support, all of that was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It took him forever to, for it to ding, go off. He had to be personally insulted. But what I think you just said is a lot of it. He loved a lot of these people.
Yeah.
He was blinded by that. He was truly blinded by that. He was treated well by them when he was doing what they wanted him to do.
When it was convenient and it was in their favor.
That's exactly it. I'm looking at this thing, and I know that there's some people that will never waver from how they feel. But I can assure anyone out there who's confused, we obviously are funding these things that happen there. I mean, it's not even over with.
No, it's not. There is no peace over.
Go listen to Jared Kushner talk about what the actual plan is. The plan was to level the place. It wasn't to. It's a joke what they're saying it's about. It wasn't a war. It wasn't a war.
No, you can't have a war when it's one-sided.
And here's the other thing. Okay,
and
so
I'm not saying Hamas is some great people either.
No, God no. But they are a very small minority within that country as far as who is actually getting wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
And Bibi funded them and created them, and there's a whole dynamic there. Yeah. And October 7th was a stand-down order. It was allowed to happen. I'm going to say it, whatever. I'll leave it there. Go do your research and find that out.
Who are saying it.
Charlie Kirk said it.
Yeah, many times actually.
Yeah, multiple times. He also said it was a cleansing. So for them to do this denial, the Hasbara denial, like right after his death, oh no, he was great with us. He was great with the cause. He had some questions, just regular old questions like, are y'all committing a genocide? Nah. Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask that. I have no idea even what the word means. I just wanted to ask the question. But people need to get it through their heads that the big threat that, so you have your people that are for sure going to stay on that side forever. Basically we'll call them demons. Okay. So just set the demons aside.
Mm-hmm.
You have other people who find some kind of logic in leaning toward that side or something. And a lot of it comes from, and Charlie did this shit too.
Mm-hmm.
We can't have Islam come in and destroy the West. Look what's happened in Great Britain. Blah, 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 blah. And basically kind of painting the picture that Israel is kind of like a great wall that defends us from Muslims coming here and destroying our civilization. I'm going to say this. If you're worried about groups of Muslims coming here who have no power in media, business, anything, any kind of sway, so in other words, they're just coming here amongst themselves, and you think that they're just going to change the entire dynamic of the United States, I'm sad for the United States you think you live in.
You got brainwashed hardcore by the weapons of mass destruction era.
Yeah, and I mean, that's all proven to be bullshit. And guess who served it to you? Nice and warm, and you ate it all up.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name?
I did for years until
Net
I was
and-
like, oh, wait.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not
Same guy.
right.
Same guy. And he's doing it again. Oh, Iran's a week away. Meanwhile, Tulsi Gabbard's testified, oh no, our complete investigation said that Iran is nowhere near having nuclear weapons. This is a farce. And, you know, that you only hear Bibi's side in the news. Yeah, you only hear Bibi's side in the news.
She's supposed to be, you know, a strong part of our government.
We're all happy that certain people got elected into certain positions, like her, RFK, Bongino. But then when we realize that they're not really allowed to do their job that we were hoping they do, that kind of sucks.
It does suck.
It does kind of suck.
I'm sure it sucks for them too.
The Muslims are coming. The Muslims are coming.
No, right.
And
Let's get
I
on a
mean,
horse.
seriously, like I said, like, I mean, in all seriousness, like, number one, most of it is a farce. Like the Dearborn thing.
Yeah,
they have Sharia law, and he said, "No, the hell they don't."
We lived there.
I'm from like right down the street,
right near there.
I still know people there.
Yeah.
Okay, they have their community where they live that way, but they're not imposing it on other people.
And guess what? We can go there and get some food whenever we want.
And here's the thing: maybe they'd like to impose it on us, you know. But they can't.
They can't.
The United States, dude, whoever's in charge would just call the National Guard in there and be, oh, you're making your own laws and shit? Okay, done. Bye. I mean, do you really think the United States is weak enough that some people can come in here and just institute an entire new set of rules and way of living and destroy our lives? Oh, they're going to commit terrorist acts. Really? Because a lot of them are here. Where are the terrorist acts?
In the gas station? Sorry, that might have sounded a little racist.
Well, I mean, you know, seriously, like it's not a real thing. And in all seriousness, it's not a real thing. I will tell you that 12 Americans have been killed since October 7th, and 0 of them, and I'm talking about in Gaza, Israel, 0 were killed by Hamas.
Mm-hmm.
Fact check that. Also, fact check, and if you're thinking, well, it's our ally, it's our ally. Fact check whether or not they're actually our official ally.
Yeah, look up what ally means.
Just because you build a country, essentially, and do it to launder money and whatnot, and you help get behind a certain political movement, it does not necessarily mean that you're their ally.
It doesn't mean that if we're in trouble that they're going to come running to help us.
No, actually, to the contrary. All those things that people used to say when I'd have political discussions somewhat about this with them, like recent history mainly, since the inception of Zionism, all those things that they would say Israel did to us that I thought would be a misunderstanding, a lone actor, a lie, they're all real, they're all true. And there's more. It's like, wait, there's more. Every so many years, they have to remind us, you know, that we're their bitch. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the quotes from these people over the years, there's enough of those quotes for you to go, oh, yeah, they actually think that.
Yeah.
That's
very, they have not hidden it quite as well as, you know, we make it out to be like, oh, you know, we didn't know. It's like, oh, well... Now I feel like a fool.
When somebody tells you who they are, listen.
Oh.
I love that saying. It's completely true. And also, when somebody tells you what they're going to do, listen.
Yeah.
There's people like Laura Loomer out there saying her name like number one, it makes my wiener run up into my stomach. Like it does. It does.
Sorry.
She was born a dude too, by the way. But I don't know. I don't want a Macron lawsuit. I'm going to leave that alone. There are people like her that they'll meet with the president when the basically it's so silly. Like if you watch, you see, it's like watching a TV show. Like you kind of see where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know exactly how it's going to end, but some of it's kind of obvious. So it's kind of like, you know, public sentiment is turning against the IDF, turning against Israel. So it's kind of like they turn up the notch on the Muslim thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be another 9/11.
Yeah.
That's what this bitch will say.
Yeah.
It's very obvious. You see these people step up and say these things. I mean, it's one thing to fearmonger, but then next thing you know, you see little intelligence reports or whatever online that go along with what she said. Oh, there's an uprising of terrorist cells here or there, and it's like nothing comes of it. It's not real.
This has been part of, I mean, oh my God, if you read books, fairy tales even, if you watch movies, shows, dramas, whatever, this is like a very common plot in like all of them. Where, you know, somebody is losing their, even like say an abusive relationship, someone is losing their control over something or somebody, you know, and they could see it slipping away, and they could see the people being like, you know what, I don't think I want to be in this situation anymore. I'm like, and
like
so
Charlie.
then all of a sudden they're like, well, no, it's too dangerous to go outside because there's sharks flying through the air out there. And I'm like, I'm serious. They're flying through the air.
The flying
so
Muslim sharks.
There will be, you know, I mean, and then all of a sudden,
you can't see their head.
You know, they've got stuff taped over the windows, and it's like, you know, there's things online about flying sharks, and it's like, what? I'm saying this as a crazy, you know, analogy, but that is what these people do. When you need an enemy to, you know, have people running to you like you need to run into daddy's arms, they create that enemy for you.
Right.
They did it so many times.
And if y'all don't see it, I don't get it. You must just not want to see it.
Remember how good it felt after, you know, we were so patriotic for a little bit there after 9/11?
Yeah, and then we started finding out why we were really there and things like that. And once again,
shipped so many
here it is again.
Over there who died.
Honestly, I didn't want to. I didn't think I would, and I didn't want to get to the conclusion I came to that this particular movement is behind just about everything bad in our society.
It sucks.
Specifically, I mean, really wars and things, but I didn't want to believe that just for the simple fact that by the law of averages, I thought it was impossible.
Well, and it's like,
I didn't want to say it was that powerful.
Something like in me that just feels like it's inherently wrong to believe that or think that way.
Yeah.
Because it makes me think like, am I this horrible, evil person?
It's because you've been conditioned.
You know, yeah. And it's like, wow. Like, it's a horrible thing. It sucks.
What I was trying to say earlier.
I don't want to. I wish it wasn't true.
I even though my views are completely opposite to someone like Ellen Beck's, I really hurt for the idea that his faith was taken by this whole thing. So, I mean, if you're going to call me like anti-Semitic, you definitely can't say that I'm against Judaism.
No.
I actually started writing this to defend the faiths that have been taken away from, or at least manipulated, changed, edited, you know, forever, probably for a lot of people. I came into this to do that. And I don't hate Eastern European people, who a lot of these people are, because I'm very much Eastern European. Kind of like Dave Smith was like, you know, what's his name? Murray wrote, he claims to have some kind of Jewish heritage. And Dave Smith said, yeah, you know, it's mostly just my mom and my dad.
Right.
I have significant Eastern European heritage, so there's not a problem there. Do I hate the Sephardi or something? Like, I don't know much about Spain. I'm gonna be
Generally,
honest.
we don't hate anyone.
I don't-
mean, we're
no.
not. We're taught that we're not supposed to do that, and we don't. I don't carry hate in my heart. I try not to. If it goes there, that's when I know I'm like, okay, I really need to
I
talk
just
to
don't
God.
think,
Right, yeah.
I could see how other people jump to that, but I could see how they get enraged about some of this stuff. But truthfully, it's kind of designed to make you get enraged and act like an animal so that you fit.
Well,
what
so
there's-
then they can point at you and say, "Look at them; they're crazy, they're psycho, they're anti-Semitic,
Or make
and
you
they're
look
violent."
stupid, make you
Yeah.
look ignorant.
Mhm.
It's purposely confusing. Like I said, you've got all these different groups that don't even fit together. So, somebody could just make you look completely idiotic if you say something negative about the whole, meaning the movement that most of those people don't even agree with.
Mhm.
You could do that, and they can make you look really stupid because you don't know anything about this loose grouping because they made it loose and confusing on purpose.
Mhm.
That's what they did. But that's something I want to say is that Zionism is not supported by most groups of Jays,
No.
specifically not
Yeah.
the religious ones.
Yeah.
Now there's always a third option. It's strange. It's like the way that this is like run by propaganda and stuff. If you look up the conversation about anything else, there's a yes or no. Like, do these people support this or not? Well, instead, there's usually a third option. It's like, yes, I'm all for Zionism. No, I'm opposed to it, or I don't support it.
Yeah. I don't really think it affects me.
Right. I don't support it, but if that's what we got to do for people to have a homeland or whatever, it's fine. Like, no, this is serious enough for tens of thousands of people die. Like, you can't treat it that way.
There is no more. I mean, and we said this when it was like, during like campaign time where it was like, okay, there is no more like middle ground here. This is like line in the sand time. No, that wasn't line in the sand time. This is line in the sand time. There is only the right side or the wrong side, not the right or the left. The side that will, have you spiritually safe and going to heaven.
Right.
And the side that will have you going to hell. And even if you don't believe in any of that, okay, it's going to take you nowhere fast if you support Zionism.
It's a created thing.
It's evil. It's wrong.
It was created by someone with no faith in God. What ends up happening, I'll just say it real quick, Herzl created it. There's a problem. And he wasn't religious. He was a Jew, but he wasn't religious Jew. His family had been. But there was a problem. If you were going to use this story, you were going to use this origin story, basically. There was the problem with the Messiah. You had to get the Jewish people back to this particular place, and there'd have to be a Messiah, all these kinds of things. So basically, okay, the solution is force the Messiah.
Forced prophecy.
Bring the people there. They'll see the signs. They'll say, wow, look at that. We do have our own nation now. And that has changed some people. I did a lot of research on the people who kind of changed their minds from being just vehemently opposed to Zionism to like, okay, I'm all right with it. It's because they've seen certain things happen that fit what their biblical narrative or their scriptural narrative is. But the thing is they fit because they're scripted that way.
Yeah, people force them to fit.
But based on the Bible, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
we're going to make this thing happen. That was in the
They
Bible,
read it,
right?
And then they did it like
and
a
then
play.
they go, oh my God. Yeah, exactly.
And that's not how it works.
And they go, oh my God, it's happening. And it's like, dude, you know damn well that they forced that. But I will say this. A lot of the Jays who kind of go along with this and basically say, well, my people need a homeland and stuff like that, they are also ruled by fear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They are basically told that if they don't get that homeland soon, they don't get their own place, and they're not protected by an alliance with the United States and all this stuff, even though we're not officially allies, that they're going to be like destroyed by the Muslims again. Well, for all my Christians out there, the Muslims hold Jesus in a very high regard. There's some different. There's a big difference between truth and the propaganda on this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there aren't terrorists or these organizations, but I will say this, people, like, don't you remember that every single time that there's a terrorist organization, several years later, you hear that they were like created by the United States, CIA, or they're created by, whoever, Israel. You always hear these things. They're usually created by the country that they're supposedly like causing harm to.
Not always, but most of the time.
Most of the time, at least in recent years, and notable situations. So I'm not saying there aren't extremists and things like that.
Oh yeah.
However, if you go back and find quotes from people who live, or even now, Muslims and Jays live together in harmony. Until Zionism, it was just complete harmony all the time. You do what you do, we'll do what we do. I mean, to this day, people know Jews and Muslims who know Jews who live in Iran. Iran.
That's interesting.
And they live there peacefully.
That's very interesting.
It's fucking weird, right? Like it's a proven fact that these people lived in harmony. And if you look at the nature of who they are and how they live and things like that, it would make sense to you. There's no reason that they wouldn't live in harmony. These people just believe in doing their own thing. Like they just want to do their religious thing. They live in that's the whole thing. The answer to the quote unquote J question is like, they have their way to, how do we fit this into our society and assimilate? Well, in those cases, they're over here, those guys are over there, and they're actually friendly to each other.
That's no different, really, than like a Baptist going to church down at this corner and a Catholic going to a Catholic church down in this corner, and they live on the same street. They go to the same grocery store. They're fine. You know what I mean? They're not at war with each other in any way. Like they're not. So I mean, it's a proven fact. Just do some digging, people, and find out that Zionism caused this. Because when you are being pushed off your land for decades, or you're being demanded this, demanded that, eventually you bite back. Eventually, yeah, some of y'all turned into an extremist. I'm sure you do. I probably would too. Yeah.
In fact, I know I would.
I know I probably would.
I 100% would. Because if I knew that my existence was going to be like I'm pinned to a damn wall, and my people are abused and things like that.
Yeah, we only get stuff of very specific caloric intake that we're allowed to eat.
Right. My thing is that, okay, well, I can't fix this. The best thing I can do is cause them some pain too.
Yeah, my baby didn't get formula because it wasn't allowed to be brought here. Right.
These things happen. I want people to do what I did and read Israeli newspapers.
Yeah. Look at those, not ours. Look at those.
I mean, in all seriousness.
There's videos too. You can find them. They're not hard to find.
And go back and, look at what the rabbis had to say. And it's hard to find. I'm going to tell you that. Sometimes you got to kind of jump around a little bit and you got to really do your homework. But find out, for yourself that the chief rabbis in the days that Zionism was being created did not agree with it at all. And there were reasons why they kind of came around and stuff like that. But just take a look at the fact that these people lived in harmony with each other. They still do in most places. That's the thing that just is never talked about. And there's so many Orthodox, like Ellen Beck, and there's a couple other guys. And the American, Yaakov Shapiro, talks about this too. There are so many of these Orthodox that go out and protest against Zionism.
Yeah.
Y'all don't hear about it.
No.
You can
find pictures.
I get it. Hard. I didn't hear about it either. But I will say that something that sparked my interest, I forgot, this actually contributed to me writing this book too, is watching Ian Carroll's documentary, Creating Israel.
Yes, go check that out.
It's great. Ryan Mata directed, I believe. It's great. And it's accurate. It's
Mhm.
completely accurate. The stuff that he covers in that is 100% right. Of course, there's more stuff that leads to it,